All right, y'all, right now I'm in basically, this is like the main street of downtown, historic downtown Evergreen, Colorado. This is Bear Creek Road, and actually Bear Creek itself runs pretty much all the way through this very quaint, cute downtown. And that's because today's video, ice sculpture, is a virtual tour of one of my absolute favorite little mountain town within driving distance of Denver, and that's Evergreen, Colorado. Maybe start a tally how many times I say it's beautiful, because it is beautiful. All right, virtual tour, Evergreen, Colorado, go. How's it going, y'all? My name is Jesse Lynch, and I work with the hardest working real estate team in the game. We're called Welcome to Denver. Check out our website, welcometoddenver.co. But this YouTube channel is all about helping you find a place to call home here in the beautiful Denver metro area. And that's whether you're buying a house for the first time, or relocating from a different city, different state, different country, different planet, whatever it is, relocations and first-time home buyers. That's what we do, and that's what we do better than anybody else. So if either of those things appeal to you, do us both a favor, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to get notified, give the video a thumbs up, and say what's up in the comments. We would appreciate that very, very much. I apologize if it's windy up here. I'm actually gonna switch mics out, and hopefully you don't have to deal with it too bad. But as always, if you are thinking about making the move here or buying a house here for the first time, just get a hold of us and we will absolutely crush it for you. We will take the best care of you. You can go to our website, welcometoddenver.co, as in Colorado. We have a contact form on there, super easy way to get in touch, or you can just shoot us an email at info@welcometoddenver.co. They both lead to the same spot, if I'm being totally honest, which is me. And I look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to helping you. We look forward to showing you around like we do here, but actually in person. Right now where I'm standing, again, very windy day. I apologize for the audio. It's probably not the best right now. I'm very much walking off the beaten path right now. But this is basically one of the commercial districts within Evergreen. Evergreen is a beautiful spot. When a lot of people think about moving to Denver, moving to the mountains, Evergreen is gonna be a pretty great option for you. I love it. I love, the whole mountain vibe. And I think you will too. Or I think if you like the mountain vibe, you're gonna really like Evergreen. This is one of the first sort of like mountain town virtual tours that we're doing, but we're good to you. We do our best to kind of show you, and this one certainly, it will not disappoint. This little commercial district down here is sort of at the bottom of the hill, I guess, the bottom of the mountain of Evergreen, but you are still up in the mountains. Evergreen goes considerably further west than where I'm standing right now. And if you look at the border of Evergreen on Google Maps, this technically wouldn't even be in it, but this is part of the greater Evergreen area, and that area is a lot bigger than if you just search Evergreen on Google Maps. It's a pretty small area. That's more of like the old Evergreen. And down in this commercial area, there's a Walmart. It's actually one of like the coolest facades of a Walmart I've ever seen. There's a Home Depot, also has like a cool sort of mountainy facade. Starbucks, Qdoba, Illegal Burgers, there's a Jiffy Lube, and a bunch of other commercial just down in this little spot. But all right, enough talking about it. Let's go for a ride, shall we? All right, y'all, right now I'm at one of my favorite spots, you know, within an hour of like downtown Denver, and that is Evergreen Lake in general. I love Evergreen, Colorado as a whole. Check that out, truly beautiful. And the Evergreen Dam is right back there. That is what helps form the lake. Evergreen Nature Center is right back that way. There's a beautiful golf course here. Golf course? There's a beautiful golf course here as well. And when I think about Evergreen, this is what I think of, is basically these mountains are what I think of. Like evergreen filled mountains. So, you know, pine, very green, very foresty. Again, obviously you're in the Rocky Mountains, but there's just like something particularly special about how Evergreen is situated within the mountains. And it's definitely one of the things that makes Evergreen one of my favorite places in the Denver metro area. I don't know that I would really consider this the Denver metro area, but I guess on the outskirts of Denver. In Evergreen, and it depends on where you are. Sorry, that sun is bugging me too, if you're thinking that. But not as much as the shadow bugs me. When the camera shadow is on me, that bugs me even more. But anyways, when you're in Evergreen, you're maybe 35 to 40 minutes from downtown Denver, depending on where you are in Evergreen, and maybe 55 minutes to an hour from the Denver International Airport. And even though Evergreen is this, you know, beautiful, like mountainous retreat almost, it is technically still part of the Denver Lakewood Aurora statistical area. So they are still sort of lumping it into the metropolitan area. And I think that's fair. There are plenty of other metropolitan areas that are bigger, you know, and more spread out. It just happens that this one, you kind of have to get through the foothills of the mountains and get up into the mountains before you're here. But again, it's amazing and beautiful. I think I'll probably say that 1,000 times in this video. Sorry about it, not really, but that's it. To me, that's what it's about, is this natural beauty, which is hard to beat, hard to find anything quite like this in the Denver metropolitan area. Evergreen has a population of around like 9,000 people, but I think that's just Evergreen proper. It's a little bit hard to get statistics on kind of the greater Evergreen area, but it's a little bigger than what you find just on the map. Evergreen is voted, interestingly enough, the 9th best place in all of Colorado to retire. So if that's you, hey, we would love to do some showings here. We're big fans. It's also 16th best place in the Denver metro area to buy a house. This is according to niche.com as well. So I don't even know where they come up with that. Maybe it has to do with equity and appreciation and all of that, as far as like the investment, the cost to get in. But yeah, 16th best place in the Denver metro area according to niche.com, just to buy a house. And it is voted the #1 place, best place to live in Jefferson County, which actually I think leads to the schools pretty well. So overall, if you look at the Jefferson County School District, it gets like a B+ on niche.com, which is not bad. You know, it's acceptable for most people. But good news about Evergreen is that the schools specifically that serve Evergreen are better than the Jefferson County School District on average. And that's because the schools here in Evergreen on average get an A-. This wind is nuts, but it's all right. I kind of like it, if I'm being honest. I hope the audio is better. Put a new mic on, so fingers crossed. But so yeah, A- schools overall for Evergreen within that Jefferson County School District. Namely, Evergreen High School gets an A overall, which is the highest rated school in Evergreen High School. And they also have very high ratings for sports. But that's all of Jefferson County. Generally, very high rating for like schools for athletes in all of the United States. So something to keep in mind. And then to name a couple others, Evergreen Middle School and Belmont Elementary both get an A- as well. But in general, the schools here, very good. That Evergreen High School, A rating, very highly rated school. So worth checking out, especially when combined with being able to be up here in the mountains and just all this natural view. And the house prices here range dramatically, like dramatically. You can, I guess, so to start, the median sale price is around $840,000. Currently on the market, there are single-family homes priced as low as like $340,000. I'm not saying they're going to be in excellent shape or anything like that, but that is currently the bottom of what's available. I would say I would not expect to find any single-family homes for anything less than that, and certainly not. They're not going to be particularly, I don't know, renovated or anything when you're looking at around that price. And then of course, you're up in the mountains. The potential for an epic mountain home up here in Evergreen is, it's everywhere, right? There are a lot of gorgeous houses up here. 4.5 million is the most expensive house on the market right now. It looks absolutely beautiful. But suffice it to say that there is also a chance that you're going to find houses that are more expensive than 4.5 million. They're just not on the market right now. But if that epic mountain house in, you know, with a decent, you know, chunk of land or at least decent privacy, that's another thing to consider, that just because you want privacy, and this is a tangent, and I apologize, but just because you want privacy, I wouldn't probably set my search, if I'm looking for one of these mountain houses, I would not necessarily set my search to have a huge land, you know, acreage, right? Because for one, that is hard to find. You're gonna pay quite a premium for it, but there are a lot of houses up here in the mountains with smaller footprints, but there's no semblance of a neighbor anywhere nearby. And there are a lot of trails, whether it's, you know, biking, hiking, whatever. There's plenty of trails. So I'm just, something to keep in mind, if you're after that sort of secluded mountain home, I wouldn't necessarily set my search criteria for land to be large acreage. Again, sometimes they're very small plots of land, but they're totally secluded. But again, if like an epic mountain house with good school districts that's relatively convenient to downtown Denver, relatively, yeah, I would say look no further than Evergreen. But all right, you know what? I'm just gonna pop a squat over here on this here bench and just look. All right, y'all, right now, I will say, usually I like to shoot in like a neighborhood or two neighborhoods when I do these videos, but Evergreen isn't exactly like neighborhoody in the traditional sense of, you know, a bunch of houses sort of lumped together. It's like very spaced apart, if that makes sense. Here's like a cul-de-sac, so this is probably the closest thing I could find to a neighborhood. It's great. The houses here are very cool, unique, distinct, and very well taken care of. But we're talking pros and cons of living here in Evergreen, Colorado. First, say it with me, y'all, it's beautiful, right? The nature, the accessibility of the nature, and just the natural elements are gorgeous. The views, epic, right? I probably have said epic a bunch throughout this video, but that's how Evergreen feels in a lot of the areas. All right, and then two, what else do I say in a ton of videos? The schools are very good. Maybe not top 5 in the state, but generally very, very good. And yeah, you know me, I'm always looking for that. It's good for home values. A lot of folks are looking for it. A lot of folks who reach out to us are looking for generally good rated schools. Definitely gonna find that here. Okay, great outdoor access to hiking and biking and all of that kind of stuff, that's definitely going to be a pro. You're going to have the possibility of an absolutely epic home and potentially very interesting architecture. And okay, before I go any further, I'm not going to go any further, but right out here, there's a field of probably 100 elk chilling. I don't know if you can see any back here, but yeah, it's wild. I'm not gonna get super close because I don't want to be that guy where you're like, have you seen the video of the guy who gets totally wrecked by 100 elk? Okay, that's not gonna be me. And generally, I would say, do not go that close to a lot of the animals here. Elk, especially, they're huge. They're very, very powerful animals, so I would not recommend that at all. In fact, I'm gonna face them for as much as I can so they don't sneak up behind me. Next pro, you have these epic houses with these insane views, but you're gonna have very quiet neighborhoods. There's a dog barking at me. He's probably not used to people just walking down the street filming and talking to themselves like I am. But I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to you and trying to be helpful. You're also going to find generally pretty good sized lots here. There are some neighborhoods that are kind of a little more cramped, but for the most part, in these sort of like mountainy parts of Evergreen, everything's going to be pretty spaced apart, like you're seeing here. You know, I bet most of these houses are dealing with probably closer to a full acre, truly on the small end. But actually, that brings me to my next pro, which is there's a fairly diverse housing stock here. Again, median list price $850, but you can get into a house for $350 if you're not looking for something epic, right? If you just want to be in Evergreen, close to the mountains, or I guess in the mountains, but you don't necessarily need like a mountain house, then maybe something in like the old downtown or near the old downtown, there's going to be, you know, some cheaper housing stock available to you for sure. You're also very close to ski slopes here, maybe an hour 15 to Breckenridge. So if that is, you know, something that's part of your lifestyle, then the beauty of Evergreen is if you want to go, you know, to Breck or whatever, to the ski slope, to the mountains for a weekend, you're already beating so many people out here. You can definitely beat the rush of like the Denver crowd, you know, as they're making their way up here. You already have a head start on them by like 45 minutes. So that sort of weekend commute up into the mountains, further into the mountains, because we are in the mountains, that will be, I would say, considerably more tolerable than if you are, you know, in the Front Range or, you know, in the Denver metro in general. And then final pro, I kind of mentioned it, is like the wildlife. There is beautiful wildlife here, like kind of all over the place. You will see deer on the regular, hanging out in neighborhoods. You will see elk. I've never seen 100 elk in one spot ever in my life, but apparently that's a thing. I'm so envious of these people who have this in their backyard. So cool. Like what a cool, like unique experience to have. God, super jealous. But that's gonna lead me to my first con, which is that there's wildlife, but there's also sort of a downside to that wildlife. For one, you might hit an elk or deer with your vehicle. An elk will really mess your vehicle up. A deer will mess your vehicle up, but probably half or something, because they're maybe half as big. But then you also have to be conscious of predators. There are mountain lions and bears in the mountains. So that's something that not everybody is really anticipating when they think about, you know, living a mountain life, which actually leads me very well into my next con, which is that this mountain lifestyle, these houses up in the mountains, a lot of the time they're not going to have public utilities. It seems like pretty much everything has electric run to it, but some of these vacant lots might not. For the most part, electric run to them, but maybe not water, so you're gonna have to dig a well, and some of these wells might have to be very, very deep. So keep that in mind. You are very high up. To get to the water, you might have to go very, very far down. Also, you're not going to have a sewer line here. You're going to have to be dealing with septic. Not that there's anything inherently wrong with septic, but it is an extra thing that if you're living in the city, maybe at worst you have to deal with your sewer line out to city water. That's probably as bad as it gets in the city. But yeah, something to consider, just sort of the, it's a rural lifestyle when you're in the mountains, because they're not going to bring those utilities way up here for these very, very spaced out houses. For the most part, that's true. There might be some exceptions. And then another sort of con that comes more with the mountain living, less with, I guess, rural, but the driving in the winter is not always going to be that fun. You're going to have steep grades and slippery roads, so you're going to want to have a vehicle that can absolutely handle it. You're not going to want to be dealing with it if you live way up here. It is not going to be worth it at all. So make sure that you can, if you live up in the mountains, make sure that you are ready for that. Next con is going to be that you're not super close to Denver and you don't have all of the suburban conveniences. You have some, and there's good grocery stores. There's a Walmart pretty nearby, but like a Target or like a mall, you're not gonna be able to find that here. And that's probably pretty obvious, but just yet another thing to keep in mind. And then last, but certainly not least, I would say it's pretty expensive. Median home price, $850. And yeah, you can find some cheaper houses, but for what a lot of folks are looking for, you're paying a premium to be up here. It is fairly expensive, and I don't know, the lifestyle, it makes sense. It is a pretty exceptional lifestyle. So that cost of living makes a lot of sense. All right, and then actually one last con, it's kind of touristy at times, but not that bad. Okay, y'all, check these views out. This place is crazy. This is one of like many houses up here with just epic views, like truly epic. It's hard, it's hard to explain in video just how beautiful, tally it, these views are. They're insane. There's also a house over on this sort of peak that has like the most wild setting of like any house around here. It is crazy. And what if I told you that way up here with this insane views, I'm like 9 minutes from downtown Evergreen. That's not bad at all. It's basically just a sort of like rural road to get up here, but only 9 minutes out of town, and really quite convenient. God, I just keep. They also, by the way, there is a view. I don't know. You probably won't be able to see it. It's very small. But down in here, right in front of this house, or right on the other side of that house, is Evergreen Lake. It is sick. So epic. And to me, that's really it. If I had to sum up Evergreen, I'm going to be talking about the views. And basically, it's just this like amazing mountain lifestyle with a very, very kind of like cute, quaint downtown that's like it's like precious, but also very good schools. So you're not like living this like strictly rural lifestyle where you don't have any amenities and often bad schools, but you have good schools and you're within an hour of downtown Denver. God, what a great lining up of things if you're looking for this mountain lifestyle. And if you watch these videos, you know that we have a section that we call our For Fans of videos. Sorry, this backlight is insane. I'm trying to block with my head. But which is to say, if you like what you see here in Evergreen, maybe check out some of these other spots. Number one, I'm going to say Golden, Colorado. It's probably one of the closest like major cities or large suburbs to Evergreen. You basically will drive through it between here and going to Denver. And Golden's beautiful. If you haven't watched the virtual tour on it yet, do so. It's really great. Next up, I would say Boulder. Boulder is a really special spot. It's people really want to live there. It's expensive, but there are amazing views, excellent schools, some of the best in all of Colorado, and yeah, it's special. Again, we have a virtual tour of that. We also have a video about just things that you're going to want to know before you move to Boulder, and we also have a cost of living in Boulder, because Boulder is big enough that it's almost its own beast, you know, not exactly the same as like the Denver metro. But then two that I would say are the most similar to Evergreen would be Kittredge and Conifer. They're similar in a lot of aspects. Potential for epic house with epic views, and you know, also a cute little small downtown. A lot of similarities, Kittredge and Conifer. So if you're looking for that mountain lifestyle that's not too far away from Denver, I would check out definitely Evergreen. To me, I think that's number one. I haven't gone into as deep of a dive on Kittredge or Conifer, but so far I believe Evergreen holds first place in my heart as far as like mountain towns go. But whatever it is, wherever you end up going, we would just love to help you find the place to call home. Here in the Denver area, the Front Range, or up in the mountains, we love it. So if you're thinking about making the move here, just get a hold of us however you can. Go to our website, welcometodenver.co. We have a contact form there, or just shoot us an email at info@welcometodenver.co. They both lead to me, and we look forward to hanging out, look forward to talking to you, and we look forward to showing you around, whether it's Evergreen, downtown Denver, Boulder, wherever, and we will take the absolute best care of you. And as always, if you have not done so yet, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to get notified, give the video a thumbs up, and say anything you want in the comments. You can literally type anything you want, period. Send it. I'd appreciate that. Do whatever. That engagement is very helpful. And please, again, give the video a thumbs up. Spend a lot of time doing these videos, and I hope they're helpful. It seems like they've been helping a lot of people. We hear from people all the time. So if you're thinking about reaching out, just do it. You're not going to be the only person doing it. We hear from people all the time. And yeah, we did it. Evergreen virtual tour. First, I would say, legit mountain town virtual tour we've done so far. I hope you've enjoyed it. I sure have. I love it. It's like 40 degrees out right now, but I'm from Minnesota, so that's not too bad. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.